not. Um, Wednesday, I got the news, came down that Bert Prentice, wrestling promoter and owner of USA Championship Wrestling, passed away, cancer. And I'm not going to sit here and act like that Bert and I were best friends, and I've known Bert for 20 plus years, and because that's not the case. Met Bert Prentice, or basically met Bert Prentice about 3 to 4 years ago, and just it was crazy. One day I reached out to him through Facebook Messenger. He was running a benefit show up in Covington, Tennessee for the Covington High School baseball team, softball team, girls softball team, I think is what it's for. And I reached out to him to see if I could get booked on the show. My whole reason being for it was because my grandchildren had never seen me work. And I thought that that would be one way for my grandkids to be able to see me work. They've heard stories and seen pictures, but they'd never seen me work. And it's been a long time since I've worked. Um, so I sent Bert a message the week before the show uh, and never heard anything back. So the night of the show came, and I took my grandkids to the show and watched it, and saw Bert Prentice, and never really said anything to him because I know that a promoter, as there was a B on my hat, a promoter has a lot to do in running a show, and I wasn't going to bother him during the show. Great show, had fun, great kids, had a great time. It was fun. It was wrestling. Um, then a couple of days later, in Messenger, I get a reply that said, "Why didn't I ever? Why am I just not seeing this?" And I was just like, I don't know. And so he's like, call me. I don't really check Facebook Messenger. I was like, okay. So he sent me his number, and that was the first conversation that Bert Prentice and I ever had. And I explained to him that I was a wrestling manager, played manager, and my character. And I explained to him that it had been quite some time since I performed, and really wanting to work for my grandchildren. I explained that I had a podcast, and it had a pretty good following in the Tifton County area, and that I could help with promotion. And so he was like, okay. So within a day or so later, next thing you know, I get a poster sent to me, and it's a show happening at the Millington National Guard Armory the next week. The very next week. It's like, this was Wednesday. And I was just like, holy crap. And so we talked again, and he said, can you sell some tickets? And I was like, well, yeah, I can sell some tickets to be on the show. So I sold some tickets. And he said, it's a business. I understood all that. So Bert allowed me to be on the show. So here I am. I am in hog heaven. My grandkids get to see me work in my hometown, in my backyard, basically. So my family was able to come. My grandkids were able to come. My mom, my brother, and everybody. So it was really nice. So I'll start promoting shows, selling tickets, cutting promos. And no, Bert Prentice never asked me to cut a promo. I cut promos myself to promote the show and subsequent shows. So the week goes on, and I'm promoting, selling tickets, promoting everything I can do to sell. And I was at work one day, and my little phone goes ding. So I look through my text messages, and I see this. If you can get a good look at it, it was February of that 17th. And Bert had put out a poster with my 8x10 closet. He had asked me if I had any promotional pictures, and I had got some quickly made up, thanks to my daughter, a pink sheet hanging over the closet door. And I was like, oh my God. Well, for me, this was just like the world just blew up. And so I immediately went to Walgreens and got like 20 of these made. If you don't understand the gravity of that, what Jerry Lawler was the main event of this show in Millington, and this was not a fundraising show. This was a straight for-profit show for the company. So they're running a show. They had sponsors and everything, and so here I am, on this right here before was Jerry Lawler and Matt Starr and everybody else, and all of a sudden, bam, there's JP Diamond. Diamond ain't ever been on a poster, much less been kind of like stuck out to that at any show he's ever done. So I was like, oh my god. So that meant a lot to me, and so I did everything I could to promote that show. And my kids, some of my grandkids got my kids, my grandkids, everybody got to saw it. It was a great show. I worked with Johnny Morton and Blake Christian, who is now is in NXT. And Johnny Morton was very great to me. So was Blake Christian. They were all very good to me. Everybody was there that night was very good to me. No reason to be, but they were. Wondering who the heck I was. And so after that, it kind of went stagnant. It was for a long time before I reached out to Bert. And so the next year, he was doing the show in Covington again. So I reached out to him, but way before, kind of back in December of that year, late December, somewhere in there, because I knew the show was going to be in February. Reached out to him, and he was like, yes. So then I worked, the next year, I worked at a show up in Covington, Tennessee. So once again, Bert gave me a shot. I was able to promote the show down here and get some tread. And turnout was pretty good. It was a fundraiser show, so it was guaranteed. So everything I did was more helped the school than anything, but I wanted to be able to prove that I could promote myself, the company, in an event. So Bert was always great. He gave me a good spot on the show. Um, Worked with great talent. Had a blast. I think I worked there was a tag team, or might have been a 6-man tag. I think it was a 6-man tag. Um, had a great time. It was fun. So at the end of that evening, I was wrapping it up with Bert, and I just said, if I could ever work a show in Oman, that would really be great. And then, granted, this is in February, and he was like, September, blah blah blah, Oman Arena. So you be there. I was like, okay, and that was it. We didn't talk for the longest. Then a few months go by. I was not being as irritating as I turned out to be. Uh, Bert sent me a text, and it was a poster for the Omen show for that summer, and with JP Diamond, who I can't tell you right this minute who it was. Oh, it was Mark Mello, Marvelous Mark Mayo with JP Diamond, and I was like, oh my God. He's like, I told you I wouldn't forget. And I was like, I never doubted you, sir. Uh, Bert and I rarely spoke. Everything was text. We text back and forth. He was a busy man, I know, so he got back with me when he could, and but he didn't forget. And he said there's nothing. He always said he liked me because he always had a soft spot for the classic manager spot. And I was like, that's my character is kind of a throwback to um, the classic manager character. So he allowed me to work, and he said there's nothing like walking the aisle in Oman Arena. And if you don't know what Oman Arena is, you can Google it. It's in Jackson, Tennessee. It's a miniature version of the Mid South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a little bit small. I think it holds 18,000, something like that. And so I rolled up into Oman. Never been there before. Scared, just a scared little girl. I never was like, this is the biggest show. At this point, it was the biggest show I've ever been on, and I was thrilled. So I walked in and went to the um, gorilla position. I don't know if that's what they call it in USA, but that's what's known, I guess, in around the world, whatever. Went to the gorilla, and they were like, he's like, go downstairs to the locker room. And I was like, never been here before. I don't know where that is. He goes, oh, it's downstairs. I was like, okay. So that was the extent of it. That was our conversation with Bert. And once again, he took care of me, had me in a good spot on the show. And I was just very grateful to be able to be a part of it. And so by that time, it's in my genes, it's in my blood now. Performance back in the blood. That you've got the old joke. It's kind of like getting a tat. Once you get it one, you got to get another one. You got the blood flowing again. So he allowed me to work, and it was really awesome. Um, so then a little bit down the road was the 50th anniversary for Jerry Lawler at the ball field in Jackson. Here I am. I ain't going. I'm not going to. I am a part timer. I'm nowhere near a full timer in this company. I have no right to be at any event selling popcorn, much less be in any um, aspect of it. Truly, just a mark given a chance to do something. And so I texted Bert and I was like, "Sir, I know you have a lot of talent and you have a lot going on, but if there's any chance that I can be on the card, I would that would be awesome." A little time goes by, and he's like, and Bert never replied like instant. It was always back and forth. So a little time goes by, and he's like, "Be there," and I was just like, "What?" I was like, "I'm booked." I was like, "Oh my god!" And so I was booked on the Jerry Lawler 50th anniversary uh, show at the ballpark in Jackson. Now we're getting into probably the biggest show I've ever worked. And I was just like, oh my God, here, here it is. I know, and this was a show you had Stunt, the Rock and Roll Express, Ellsworth. I mean, everybody, all kinds of people. Kane was there doing a meet and greet. So I took my grandkids up there and got them and able to meet Kane and stuff. And I was just like, man, this is awesome. Have you heard the chant at wrestling shows? This is awesome. I was beside myself. And so got my match. I took a bump, ate some dirt at the baseball field. It was awesome. And match was okay. It went kind of bad, but it was okay. It wasn't my fault, but it was okay. And it was truly just so awesome just to be there. So I made sure I was like, Bert, thank you so much for the opportunity. And now I made him sure that I thanked him every time because I was wanted him to know how grateful I was. But it was more than he he loved the business to let a guy like me do what I did. And I'm sure there's countless of hundreds of thousands of other stories from different guys that worked with him more closely and been with him more closely over the years. But for him to give me a chance really was awesome. Got me to meet some people that I never thought I'd meet, work with some people I never thought I'd work with, make some friends that I never thought I'd make, and be uh, to be to be this guy one more time. Uh, and it was truly awesome. So he did allow me to worked one more show with Omen a few months ago. It was the last time that I saw Bert, and I wanted to make sure I thanked him before I left, or he left before he left the show. Before I know he was sick, I could tell he was sick, but I wanted to make sure I thanked him before he left. Um, he was probably tired of me. He was probably very tired of me. But I learned that like I said, Bert never asked me to cut a promo. All the promos you've seen me cut, you can go through YouTube and Facebook and everywhere, you'll find them. He never asked for any of those. I did those on my own because I wanted to help. Wanted to show that I was excited and useful in some kind of capacity to help. I promoted shows that I wasn't even on. Um, the show that they did on YouTube for the USA Championship Wrestling did just a bit of put a show on during the pandemic where the guys wasn't able to just work and try to make some money. So I cut a promo putting all the handles for the PayPals and all cash apps and all that, just trying to help them to gain to help the guys make some money. I wanted Bert to know that I cared, and I did help some of the guys out. So it means a lot to me that I was allowed to do what I was what I could do. And Bert was a very, very, very good man, businessman, but cared about the business, cared about the people, cared about his talent, and that was really meant a lot to me. That he was calling me dear old friend, and it was crazy that he would call me that, and it struck me. It was like, this man hasn't known me 2 years, 3 years at the most, and we've had probably 10 minutes of FaceTime and few texts back and forth. But it's just how much he cared about people, and gave um, people a chance. And I will never forget that. And I will be forever grateful for that. Bert was awesome. And I just want to send my condolences out to everybody at USA Championship Wrestling, all the guys there. I know they got to be hurting because they worked Bert day in, day out, every day, hitting every town in Tennessee. And if I'm hurting, I know they've got to be because they worked with him every day. And it was it's a big loss for wrestling, and big loss for a lot of people because it was he was a great man, and I greatly appreciate being able to be a part of his life, and I'm better for him being a part of mine and helping me when quite frankly, I tell a lot of people he didn't have to. He didn't have to help me, and he did. And it may help me to make some memories that will last a lifetime. Help me to be able to do something that I love and show respect for something I love, and that's cool. Like I said, I was able to meet people that I didn't think I'd ever meet, um, establish some friendships, um, and really just grow as a person. Learn about the business, learn about it is a business, and just make it truly something special. Now, I've gone on and babbled here for almost 20 minutes, and but I wanted to. I feel like I needed to say something today, um, and just the man was really great. You'll hear a lot about him, and there'll be a lot of people and more of more stature than and I get that. But I felt like there was a little guy here that needed to speak out because even me, he treated was great, and I can never um, put into words how much that meant to me, to give me the opportunity to do something that is to me is huge. To the people who love the business is huge. Just being in an arena, entering, entertaining people. At the end of the day, you're entertaining, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I like to do, and being able to be this guy, you know, is what it is what it's all about. So, rest in peace, Bert Prentice. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity you give to me, and I will work hard to be able to pass on your legacy, pass on your blessings on that you passed on to me, and it really means a lot that you gave me what you did when you didn't have to, and I will forever, forever hold that close to my heart. Rest in peace, Bert Prentice. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll never stop rocking.